Good evening, good night, good morning, wherever you're coming from. This is your girl HP, of course. It is not Thursday. No, it's not Thursday. It's actually Tuesday. But tonight is a very, very special night. Tonight is the night when fans will get an opportunity to express their objectives or what they want to see at a sport event, especially track and field that we love so much. So welcome each and everyone wherever you're coming from, whether which of the continents you're coming from. Welcome, whether it's Europe, North America, South America, Africa, Asia, Antarctica, Oceanic. I hope I got all seven continents. Welcome. And of course, tonight we have a diverse audience tonight, not just from Jamaica, but from other places. I'm not going to tell you where until we come back after the break. But welcome and leave your comments, share with us tonight because tonight it is all about fans, what we want, what our expectations are when we go to a sporting event. Is it that we're asking for too much? Is it that we're getting too little for our money? We are going to hear the different views of different track and field fans around Jamaica and other parts of the Caribbean. So don't go anywhere. Stay right there, and we will be right back.
Jamaica's track and field legacy is unmatched. It is a story of triumph, resilience, and extraordinary talent. But do you know the stories behind the athletes who brought us glory? Hi, I'm HP, founder of HP Chat Track. My mission is simple: to celebrate the rich legacy of Jamaica track and field and shine a light on the incredible people who make it happen. Winning that race was a dream come true, but the journey wasn't easy. It's not just about medals, it's about inspiring the next generation. Jamaica track and field isn't just a sport, it's our pride, our culture, our heart. Every week I sit down with athletes, coaches and fans to bring you stories of dedication, passion and legacy. Plus, we've got exciting news and exclusive insights into the world of track and field. Make your Thursday night be at HP's place. Come hang out with us at HP Chat Track Studio, where track and field is our business. Jamaica, one people, one legacy.
Get up on, no, don't stop. Future bright, the vibes nice.
Welcome, welcome, welcome back. And we are back. And of course, I have all these lovely, lovely track and field faces on my platform tonight. And as I said before we went to the break, tonight it is all about the fans and the fans' expectations. Is it that we are asking for too much as fans? And of course, we are going to tell our individual stories, or we are going to share with you what our expectations are. So before we get into the meat of the matter, to the top, my left, maybe your right, we have Tamika, who is a Jamaican track and field fanatic. To her left, my right, yes, please wave. I love that. I love that, Tamika, that you wave. Next to my right is our neighbor from Trinidad and Tobago, Akea Webster. And of course, she is going to tell us a little bit about her association with Trinidad and Tobago, that is called Trinidad and Tobago Track and Field Supporters Association. I love that name. And coming downstairs now to my left, we have Clayton Clark, another one from Trinidad and Tobago, the Soca Warriors. He is in the building, a sports journalist and also a track and field fanatic. And to his left, my right, maybe your left or right, is Ozzy Dixon, another Jamaican track and field fanatics. We're all track and field fanatics, and of course, it is a diverse group tonight. It is Trinidad and Tobago and Jamaica. Welcome, guys. Welcome.
Hi, good evening, good evening, good
Thank you,
evening.
thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Awesome, awesome. I'm just going to allow you guys 30 seconds to say a little bit about yourself, not more than 30 seconds. We'll start with Tamika.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tamika. I am a track and field fan. I mean, I would say I'm a sports fan, but even though I have been denying loving track and field more than football, I feel somehow that track and field takes the number one spot.
Yeah?
Yes.
Hi, everyone. So I am Akai Webster. I
I'm
am That's
sorry.
okay. I'm the Vice President of the Trinidad and Tobago Track and Field Supporters Association. And our organization promotes, supports, and enhances the development of track and field athletes in Trinidad and Tobago. Our objective is simple: to support the athletes and contribute to the success of their track and field career.
Awesome, awesome. Clayton?
I'm Clayton Clark, and I would say I'm a fan first. And that fan, being a fan, has driven me to other areas in the sport. But I think has helped me to always be a fan and remember that grassroots importance of loving the sport and as you mentioned, fun. Reflecting that as what has, keeps me going. Being a supporter of the sport, loving the sport. It isn't just a job. And I look at one of your ad that talk about culture. That is something we really have to push. That it must be part of what you do, and we have to encourage more of the culture of who we are to get into the sport. We don't see them as a chore and a burden, and we appreciate each other and use what we have to conquer the world, as track and field has done.
Awesome, awesome. One Caribbean. Ozzy?
Well, Ozzy Dixon, uh, most of you would have seen me on the show before. Sports fan overall, but more so a track and field fan. And I would say probably I've been track and field fan since 1964. Maybe most before most on the show would have been born. That's the 1964 Olympics. That's where I really got into the things. That was what? Maybe 10, 11 at the time, thereabouts. Giving away my age, but no problem.
Wow,
Um,
awesome.
All
I
right.
always, I think we probably spend too much time on the sport to the point where my movements and all that are by my colleagues very predictable. Once they know a track meet is on somewhere, they can say, okay, we're not going to see Ozzy. Oh, we won't see Ozzy. You know, to, that's sort of the level of my involvement.
It sounds very familiar. I get that every day. And my first question to the panel is going to be there are different levels of fans, different level of supporter. But before we go any further, I just want to say welcome to each and everyone who are already on the live. Prince, good night, welcome. Each and everyone, welcome. If you want me to see your comments, join us over on YouTube where I can read your comments and acknowledge you. And please remember to like, subscribe, and share. That's something I don't say a lot. So please, guys,
Yeah.
show me some love and subscribe and stuff. And I want to say also welcome to Lily Hodges, a Jamaican 1960s and 70s, 1970s Olympian. Lily Hodges, 1970s and 1980s Olympian, is here with us. I call her Auntie Lily. She's here with us. But guys, going back to our discussion to kick things off, there are different levels of fans, there are different levels of supporters. And three of the main levels that I came up with, and I'm going to ask each of you to tell me which level you're at. There is general fans. General fans is everyday people who admire athletes and performances and maybe their personality. Youth and aspiring athletes are another group of fans who, these are young people who see the athlete as maybe a role model or something. Now you have the diehard supporters. These are loyal fans. Rain, sun, storm, sleet, it doesn't matter what is going on. Those fans are out there. So I want each of you to just quickly tell me which of these three categories you're in.
All right,
Anybody can start.
I want to start first because I may have to leave because I'm actually here at the repast for Ken Bernard. He won bronze at all 4x40 in 1964.
Wow.
Yesterday, I'm actually at the repast here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
What did you
you know,
I didn't know that.
yes, yeah. So I'm here with Ed Skinner,
Wow.
Wendell Motley, and Lennox Grant, who ran in that. Right, you know those names, sir?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
they're all here. Yeah,
He's been
yeah,
around
yeah.
from those times.
Right. So, HP, you mentioned the type of fans, and I'm now putting it into context. I remember a year I decided I'm not going to do track and field. I'm going to go to Caribsta swimming. And the Caribsta, I was saying, you? Now, we know soon as track and field come, you gone. And I gave all the commitment I'm going to swimming, and it just can't happen. I mean, I go to meet sick. Somehow I find the energy to go. So, but
you're definitely a diehard.
I don't know what sometimes I don't have money and I find myself at a meet.
Sounds familiar.
I don't know where I fit in. And also, you see, when they're leaving, I like to be in the airport. I may not get a story, but just being there, see them leave, see them come in. So I don't know if I need any medical attention for my addiction.
You're obsessed. You're obsessed. So you're definitely diehard supporter.
Oh, that's passionate.
Yes, passionate. Ozzy.
Okay. I had in preparing for this show, I'd sort of broken down things into just fans and spectators. I didn't categorize fans, you know. So I would call myself a real track and field fan. I just
diehard fan.
Right.
Okay. Go ahead, Akia.
So we are diehard fans. So our athletes are at international events, regional events. We are there. We hop in the plane with them. We are there. We are in the stadium. We may not always know every athlete by name, but we certainly know them by face. You know, so yeah. And we are at every meet, developmental meet, every game.
Sure. Diehard for sure. Tamika?
All right. So when I say this, then you will automatically put me in a category. So here I am. Lord, please take away that love that I have for track and field. I think I'm obsessed. I don't want to hate it. I just want to like it, where I don't need to spend 6-7 hours on the phone discussing track and field and discussing the same things over and over and never get bored, never get tired of it.
You are definitely a diehard, my dear. I don't even have to say which category I am in. It speaks for itself. But I'm one of those fans. I'll travel anywhere to watch track and field. As a matter of fact, when I was living in Jamaica and I'm going to track and field meet, I had to discipline myself to eat before I leave home, because once I get into the stadium and get into the energy and what's happening on the track and in the field, I don't care for food. I don't care to move. I want to hear everything. I want to see even the 5,000 and the 10,000 that people use as bathroom breaks or to go and get refreshments. I want to see everything. Because of that, my sister will say I am very purpose, because I don't wake early for nothing. But if the track and field championship coverage starts at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., I am up and I am watching the heat, I'm watching the replay, I'm watching the reruns, and I'm watching everything. Sometimes I watch the replays and the reruns as if I'm just seeing the race. My sister would say, haven't you seen that already? And that is the kind of fan that I am. I am like you guys. I am obsessed with track
We
and
all
field.
need treatment.
Yeah, we all need treatment. I think we do need treatment because just Sunday I was on a phone call with someone from England from 2:30 in the afternoon, and the conversation was all about track and field, and the conversation did not end until 8 p.m. when my phone went dead. My phone went dead, and that was when and it is all about track and field, nothing else. And that's the kind of fans that we are. And that is why we are here tonight, Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago. But before we go any further, let me say welcome to Roman Stewart, who is here, and welcome to two other Jamaican Olympians, Vonnie M., who is Yvonne Saunders, a 1972 and 1976 Olympian, Ethelyn Tate, 1984, 1988, both from Jamaica, and of course have done the country proud in track and field. Thank you guys for being here. Ethelyn Tate is saying you all need treatment for real. Yes, we do. But guys, let us talk a little bit about our expectations as fans. When you go to a sport event, what what is it that you guys, why do you go to a sport event? Anybody can answer. I'm going to answer last.
Right.
And I have, and to let you know,
Yeah.
I have 10 items on my paper. I don't know how many you guys have, but I have 10 items on my paper. And here we are. We have someone else joining us. This is David. Welcome, David. David is from
I'm from the United Kingdom, but I live in the States. All right, I help you out. I apologize. I had 7 p.m., but then I realized that you're in a different time zone to me. So I apologize. That's why I'm late.
That's fine, David. You join at a good time. But just quickly before we go, we have three categories of. Okay, guys. This is David, and he said he's from the UK. And David, we have three categories of track and field supporters, fans. We have normal people who admire athletes and maybe their personality and what they're wearing. We have the youngsters who model these athletes, and then we have diehard fans who are just into the sport. We want to know everything. Which category are you in, David?
Oh, I mean, I've still got a bit of a kid in me, right? So I think that's sort of like that second. Like I still look at these athletes, right? And even though, unfortunately, I'm older than most of them, right? Or all of them, I still aspire to be like them. So I can definitely relate to that kind of thing. Like, when I was growing up, I can see we've got Akai. Sorry if I pronounced your name incorrectly. Akai Webster from Trinidad and Tobago. I was a huge Atto Boldon fan, right? So every time Atto walked out, like I was in awe. And I remember the first time I met him, I was speechless because like he had just such an impact on me. And so I can definitely relate to it from being that perspective, thinking I want to be like that. And then I think that's kind of like transcended, like I'm in my 40s now. So just to being sort of like a diehard fan, I love the sprints and the sport stats from like dating back to the 90s. And I've followed it kind of pretty religiously ever since. So I would say, I can relate to kind of both of those categories.
So we all need treatment because we're all obsessed with the sport. And as you said, Trinidad and Tobago, David, we have two people on here. It is a diverse group.
Oh yes, or Clayton as well.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Clayton Clark from Trinidad and Tobago, and we also have
Well, it's diverse because she's from Trinidad and I'm from Tobago.
Okay,
okay.
It is even more diverse. So we have Trinidad, we have Tobago, we have England or the UK, and you have Jamaica. Talk about diverse. But David, when you popped in, we were just talking about, the question was thrown out to each person. Why do you go to a track event. Name me one thing that you look forward to when you go to a track and field event. So we're going to start with Tamika. Let Tamika tell us. I have 10 things on my paper. So I'm hoping that you each have 10 things on your paper. But go ahead, Tamika.
I don't have 10.
That's
And
fine. That's
this one is
fine.
probably coming from a place of naivety, but I want to see a packed stadium. I don't know. I think our athletes deserve that. Having gone to football matches and can hardly find place to sit, I think the athletes deserve this also because they have been performing at the highest standard for so long, you know. So
Yeah.
it's heartbreaking for me when I go to track meet and sometimes I feel like I'm the only one in the stadium. So that is how scanty it is sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
totally
that is one. That is first and foremost what I want. I am looking forward to.
Awesome. Akil?
Right. So I have a few, but I'll only give one for now.
Yes.
To
One
support,
at a time.
all right, to support and celebrate our athletes. Now, to when we witness the next generation, the next stars of athletes in action, that is the support. Seeing our young athletes achieve their personal best, that is all under the umbrella of supporting and celebrating our athletes.
Awesome. Ozzy?
Why I go? Wow, it's simple. I just once it within my means, I just cannot not go. I don't know if that makes sense. The grammar may be all over the place, but you might
Ozzy needs
understand what
to
I mean.
friend. Yes.
To go to and it's not just track and field. Even pardon me?
No, go ahead. Go
Can you hear
ahead.
me?
Yes, we're hearing you. Yes. Yes, we're hearing you. Yes.
Oh, okay. Yes, okay. I was just saying it's just not the same to sit at home and watch a track and field event or in fact any other sports that I do follow. Going there, the atmosphere, it adds something. Just even if the stadium is not jam packed, just being there adds it adds something to, well, for me anyway. That's really why I go.
Clayton? Clayton, okay, well, Clayton is having seems as if he's having some technical difficulties. David, name me one reason why you go to a track and field event.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think it's just I love seeing like how far the human body can go. So I just I just love to see how fast people can run. I mean, that's my bias because I come from sprints, but like I love that. I think it's just sort of like such a primal, like electric kind of vibe where you see somebody like tearing down the track. And also I think that TV doesn't do it justice. I remember the first time I went to like a high level track meet and somebody ran past me like 40 meters down the straight. And it was like, I watch it on TV and think, yeah, I could do that. And then I watched it in person. I was like, okay, I can't do that. So yeah, definitely. It's nice just seeing this elite performance. I love it.
Clayton?
Yes. So, which hat should I give this from? Because I started going from a fan, a coach, and in media. To me, it's about connection in the sense that you have somebody who tell you that the child going to run, and you want to give support, and because we really don't know down the road whether that athlete would end up. And I had an incident the other day where it wasn't in track and field. She, when I first interviewed her, because of who her coach was, I interviewed her. She went on to win 2 medals at the World Cycling Championship. And the mother remembered she got an interview when she was nothing. She wasn't winning. So just helping to see the potential, because you see athletes, you just see them making the effort. It's not about winning. You see them execute, they try, it might be the first time. That gives me a kind of energy because, as I say, sometimes you connect with the parents and you want to give that support. The child may not quote unquote be good, but it has to start somewhere. And that start usually leads to bigger and better things. So it is about
Indeed.
giving support. It's about giving supporting the youngsters, the sport itself.
Indeed, indeed. And my first reason for going to track and field meet, I want to see the action live. So for me, it is about the electrifying atmosphere and the crowd energy. I love that kind of thing. I want to hear the loud cheers. And I don't know how many of you have gone to our boys and girls champs in Jamaica, but I love to hear the loud cheers, the music, the enthusiastic announcers. I want to hear the vuvuzelas. I want to hear all of that energy because it is telling me that, okay, we are here and we are ready to go. So that's one of the things that I like about going to a track and field event, the atmosphere, the electrifying atmosphere, and of course, the crowd energy. But let me ask you guys something, though, and anyone can take this question. World class performances and record breaking, is it that we're spoiled as track and field fans that we always want to see records, we want to see personal best, we want to see championship record? Are we asking for too much?
Well,
Go
go ahead. Yeah.
Well, my take on that is that yes, you have the diehard support, but well, having a knowledgeable fan or knowledgeable fans are important to understand the process because we want to come to senior champs, and well, some of us come knowing who we're looking at and knowing the journey, but you get the sense even among the association, we want people to come out for the championship, but you don't take people on the journey so they could understand the athletes building towards the season. Some might be coming back from injury, some might be injured, and this is their effort. So they're not going to win, but knowing where they came from, sometimes challenging background. I mean, those things really help in you supporting the sport because you might see a guy coming last, but when you know his story, you might cheer for him more than the winner because
True.
either the parent died, some travesty, he might change his life around, which is what the sport provided. And so right. So come asking your question, are we spoiled? I think we can do more as fans, not just about coming and cheering. We need to give the support, yes, in the stands, but we have to connect more with our athletes so they know that we love them, not just when they're winning, but when they're losing. Yes, we criticize them, but we need more connection with our athletes so they feel us, not just in the stadium, but they feel us. They know we are really there for them.
I want to support Clayton on this.
Go ahead.
We want to see their growth. We excited to see their growth. For example, for those of us who will have been following the career of Jareem Richards, and we know where Jareem came from. So every time Jareem steps on that line, the expectation for the fans, is that he's going to do great. That this is what we want to see. So to answer your question, yes, we are spoiled. We are, because we continue to have high expectations of our athletes. We may know that, okay, well, this is not the best team we send in, but yeah, the expectation is there that they're going to podium. So
for
yeah,
me,
we spoiled.
Yes, for me, I
Yes.
Go ahead, Tamika.
yes,
Yeah.
I really think we are spoiled. However, having high expectations of our athletes is nothing to be ashamed of. I mean, we know what they're capable of. We have been watching them from their junior days, sometimes some of them from even primary school. So we know what they can do. We know that sometimes along the way, life happens. But I believe in, never giving up on them, continue to hold them, in high expectations and so on. But we want to see, we know what they can do and we want to see it. We may not always get to see it, but nothing is wrong with hoping.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Any thoughts, David?
I think that when you first asked that question, right? What I remember, one of my friends said to me, he thought like almost one of the worst things that happened to the sport was when they put like the world record on the bottom corner of the screen, because everybody wants to see that all the time, right? And I think if we did see that all the time, it would devalue what a world record is. But I think then you know when you were talking about the different categories of fans, and you get the normal people, or you get the people that only switch on and see the Olympics every 4 years, and then let's take the 100 meters world record's 9:58, and they see somebody run 9:80, and they think, oh well, that was a quarter of a second off the world record. So it kind of, they don't necessarily appreciate how fast that is and how good that is. And I also wonder, like for example, take the Paris men's Olympic 100 meter final, where closest Olympic 100 meter final in history, and you know it wasn't a world record. That there were no like, by world record standards, blisteringly fast times necessarily, but it was an absolutely great race. Okay, so kind of like taking the clock away, taking world records away, taking personal bests away, you can still have a great race without those. So I think that's sort of something that's important to be aware of, and maybe sometimes we don't necessarily need to put as much emphasis on records, personal bests, kind of as we do to still be entertained. But then I think to all your points before, in terms of like knowing where an athlete has come from, and kind of knowing that, you know, some of the challenges and the injuries or setbacks they might have had earlier in the year, it's a great way to kind of like measure their progress against themselves. So I can sort of, as you can tell, I'm a guy that likes to sit on the fence, right? I can sort of see it from both perspectives.
Indeed. Ozzy, you any thoughts on?
Yes. Well, I have accepted that we won't see the world records every day, every meet, every time by an athlete. So that's, you know, so my expectations are tempered somewhat, and it will vary throughout the season. I wouldn't expect, let us pick the sprint, somebody to be running 9.6 in March, you know, whereas come July, August, September at the major games, my expectation level, you know, changes accordingly. I like to see a fierce competition. So there are times, and maybe it's a little bias coming here, I have no issue with 8 athletes running 10 zeros, 10-0-1, 10-0, all the way down to 10-0. Fact, hundredths of a second separating the first from the 8th finish. As again, somebody way out front. And again, this is where I said my bias. Probably if it's my athlete, I may change my perspective. I prefer to see, you know, tight, fierce competition. Not necessarily world records every day, or, you know, that sort of thing.
Is it world records that we want, though, are good competition, entertaining competition?
That's what I want.
Competitive competition. We want to see clashes.
Yeah.
You know, we want to see the top athletes clashing. Of course, we don't get to see a lot of that until major championships like the Olympic Games or the World Championship. But it goes back to something I heard earlier. Whose job is it to ensure that the fans and the athletes, there is interaction with athletes and the fans? How do we fix that? How do we get that dynamic to work so that we are better able to support our athletes? Because when we go to track and field events, we want to take selfies with our favorite athletes. We want to get an autograph. We want some interaction. How can we get? Is it that we as fans, where do fans draw the? Where do you draw the line for fans?
I was going to say that I feel that, like, I mean, I don't have an answer, but I feel like the answers have come from like athlete agents, right? They're the ones that are kind of like helping them with their PR and, you know, building their image. So I think that's sort of like a job for them in terms of like helping to promote them on social media, which is where they can get a lot of interactions, and then perhaps in-person interactions are a little bit more tricky, but I would say agents would definitely have a part to play in there.
I totally agree with you, and I like when you mention PR, their PR person, because I believe that a public relations person is very, very important to an elite athlete team or to an elite team. Of course, we're still not there yet as a culture, but I think it is very, very important. Okay.
HP, let me apologize firstly for having this baby here. She doesn't
No,
want to
she's
see.
fine. She's fine. That's okay. It's
Right.
okay. It's okay. That's
All right,
okay.
I just want to add as you talk about PR because and I'm talking across the region now and even having discussions with NACAC. We have been taking our successes for granted,
Mm-hmm.
and the bold era, and even this Shelley and Fraser era where it has been coming plethora. We take it for granted. The expectation is there, and I remember even from in Rio Olympics, they were making the analysis after both 3 gold medals. They won the 24x1. The men only won 1 gold medal, which was Omar McLeod.
Mm-hmm.
So we are taking it for granted. Other areas are catching up on us because of the development of the sport. Not in the non-traditional countries. We have a lot more to do in marketing. We taking these things for granted. That the sport is popular, but there's getting on the television we can't take the sport for granted. And with all the technology, the investment by Women Athletics, we need to do some more. We need to do some more, but in terms of taking the sport business wise, and I'm bringing it down now to the federation, even the clubs. So when they have their meets, and I'm not just talking one country. I think I'm looking regionally now because Jamaica might be having a good thing going, but when you look across the other region, we have some catching up to that. And our athletes do deliver. We can't question that. Our athletes do perform, whether it's at the collegiate level, the international level. But because we're not business-like, we kind of losing some momentum in the visibility of the sport. And people expecting a lot from us without not understand. Because the fans expect that we don't win medals in Olympics, they cry. But if the fans are not part of the journey where they can support and they understand, it's not just accepting the understanding why they didn't perform, but being part of the journey to add to being part of the success of the athletes. So they go into the Olympics knowing they have the support of the fans, and the fans understand. So we're giving it for them.
Clayton took the words out of my mouth with regards to the athletes knowing that they have that fan base, they have that support. I remember last year when we were in Grenada for Carifta, and the athletes, they said to us that support meant so much. It meant, and it helped motivated them to do more. I remember one of our long distance runner to Firewall John, and he was running, and every time he said all he wanted from us was every time he every time he lapped, he wants to hear the cheer, and that drove that boy. So the athletes, once they know we have their backs, they are supporting and supporting faithfully. I think that means so much to them, and it tells when they perform and they get to that podium. Support helps.
Anybody else want to piggyback on that before I?
All right. I would like to say something. Yes. All right. And I'm happy that you brought that up, HP, because it really gives me the opportunity to speak out about something that I've had an issue with for quite a long time. All right. I know the PR person / agent and the social media and so on is good for, you know, putting the athletes out there, letting the fans get to know them and so on. But I think there's a gap that needs to be bridged between the athletes loving and appreciating their fans. All right. I'm not saying that they don't have some amount of love, but I know firsthand how our fans are where our athletes are concerned, right? We have our favorites, and those who are not our favorites, we tend to tear them down. Athletes used to be at a high level. They are no longer at a high level for whatever reasons. It could be injuries. It could be that maybe, you know, they're getting older and so on. And the fans just tear them down, and they use every opportunity they get to tear them down. And this is something that we have been talking about for so long. Now, the athletes know these things, right? I don't know how it is in Trinidad or in the UK, but I know what it is like in Jamaica. And so because the athletes, they come on the YouTube live when the track meets are going on. Some of them might comment, some of them might just sit and read the comments and so on. So it caused them to feel a particular way towards their fans. So at track meets, when you see them having like a standoffish behavior towards the fans now, you know, the fans want to behave as if the athletes, you know, behaving like they are better than them and so on. Sometimes it is not about that.
True,
You understand?
true.
I heard Danielle Williams said something when she won, after she won the world championship, the last world championship. She said, when they were interviewing her, she said, I am happy I won, because if I didn't, the Jamaicans would rip me. And I said, that thing cut me.
Unfortunately.
That thing cut me so deep, because I knew she was telling the truth.
Yeah.
And
Right,
she
so
should not have to feel, our
that
athletes
way,
should not have
right?
to feel
No.
that way. Yeah.
So this is some of the issues that the athletes are having, you know.
Yeah.
And Tamika, glad you brought that up, because when I mentioned we support faithfully. So supporting, even though you know, okay, this athlete is on the podium or had not made the podium because of whatever reason, we still give the athlete that support, because again, not everybody could win all the time. You know, so that support needs to be there, whether they're on the podium, off the podium, whether they're first, whether they're last. That is what true support. And when I said support faithfully, that is exactly what I meant, Tamika. Not bringing them down when they have. And yes, fans can be horrible in that way.
True.
I would just like to say as well. So I was going to say with what Tamika said, like it's one of my pet peeves. It really annoys me when. Because I think like social media means that everybody has a voice, right? But it doesn't mean that everybody has an informed opinion. So you can share your opinion. Like people, I think, need to learn that some opinions aren't as important as others. But people that they'll make comments about an athlete with like no insight of what's going on in their lives, no understanding of what they're going through. So, and I think, you know, I'm not Italian. I don't know anything about Marcel Jacobs personally, but I mean, after he won the Olympics in Tokyo, and then he wasn't racing because he was injured, and then everybody was calling him out for ducking races, saying he was a one-hit wonder and all that kind of stuff. And I just think that's like, there's people from the other side of the world that have never met him, not got anything to do with him. They don't know what he's going through, but that they're making these comments. And it really annoys me that people, firstly, they'd have the audacity to have such strong opinions about something that they don't know about. But then also it's frustrating that they even have the platform to do so. And I don't have a solution, but it's just when Tamika said that, and when Aka was talking there as well, it just made me think of that.
Just a general, a question. Based on what has been said here about fans, and maybe those are not the fans, maybe those that do that sort of bashing, I wouldn't consider those fans. Those are maybe more spectators.
Believe it or not, some of them are fans, because
I don't call them fans.
let me tell you,
fans.
Listen, as David said, it is also a pet peeve of mine. But go ahead, Ozzy, go ahead.
Yeah, would it help? I know some of these athletes, they have their social media channels and all that. Would it help if, even say at the beginning of a season, you know, instead of maybe some of them just posting pictures and all that sort of thing in fancy clothes and all that, they say, okay, look, my season is, just maybe outline something about the season. If they have an injury, I know it seems now nobody is comfortable in saying that if they are injured or not. I can't see the why. I don't understand it. But if you maybe at the beginning of the season, just outline even your own expectations. So at least that probably would temper the fans' expectations also. But, just throwing that out.
I'm happy you say that because I I love communication, effective communication, and I believe and I am going to believe it until I die. Athletes need to communicate with their fans. They need to communicate with potential sponsors. They need to be doing some amount of communication. And that is one of the things that I, as a fan, that's one of the things that I have a problem with because athletes are not communicating. We're not hearing from them. We don't know what's happening with them. And that is why I'm one of those people advocating for athletes having a PR person. Because if there is a scandal, if there's something, I think you need to address it publicly so that you can change the narrative. You can, because if there's a scandal and an athlete come out and say X, your fans are more likely to believe what you said than what the scandal is about.
Or
And
rumors. Right.
are rumors then, or rumors. And this is one of the things I understand that our athletes they are not communicating and nobody is okay, let's go back to the Paris Olympic Games when Shellyan wasn't able to enter that gate to come in to run her semifinal. I mean, we're in another season and we still have not had a real explanation of what happened. We see little videos going around on social media, but as fans, we don't know what really happened. I mean, this is Shellyan's fifth Olympic Games.
Right.
This is her last. I would say it is her last. And she made the semifinal and she was prevented from running. Now, if I was her PR person, I would have said, Shellyan, we need to make a statement. Put something out there that your fans can know that this is not on you. Because a lot of things were being said, and to this day, we don't know what the real deal is. So communication is one of the problems that I have with my athletes. They're not talking to us.
But HP, let me ask.
Okay.
Oh,
Yes,
sorry.
Go ahead. Okay.
Oh, you sure? Okay. Yeah. Now it's all well and good to say, okay, the athletes need to communicate. And for those who can afford a PR team, fine, kudos to them. But what about those who cannot? Do we have, I don't know about the other countries, but do we have a forum that these athletes can voice their issues? Who do they go to? Beside their coaches and their family members? Can they go to our administration and say, okay, well, I am not well, I have an injury? Yeah, probably they can. And I know for some of our elite athletes, yes, our athletes can go to the administration and say, well, here what? I have an injury here, and they can get sorted. But what about those who don't have that? Do they have is there a platform for them to voice their, to come to fans? Well, listen, this is what's going on with me. If there's a country that has that, I would love to know so we can implement that here.
And that is a good thought. That is a very, very good thought. But I'm thinking that if you cannot afford to, all right, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I was doing. I was trying to recruit a few athletes to be their PR person. And Tamika and I had the discussion, and I had said that I would be their PR person for free for a year just to get it off the ground, just to kind of put it out there how important having somebody to speak on your behalf, how important it is. So that is what I was proposing. But for those who cannot find someone, there are people out there that are willing to help our athletes. There are people out there like me who is willing to work for you for a donation. You know, so it is there. If you cannot afford to contract someone to do or pay someone what they're worth to do it, then we all have a smartphone. Use your smartphone and talk to your people. Create a little video and title it, okay, missing the Olympic finals. And you break it down in it. Hey, my fans, how are you today? I know that you're disappointed, but this is the reason why I was not let into the gate to run my semifinal, to do whatever, however you want to term it. Put something out there, and believe me, it will go viral. Our athletes are famous, especially the Jamaican athletes. Put something out there and title it "To My Fans," and that will hit my phone a million times.
Yes.
Agree.
As I believe.
And in keeping with the line you're taking there, whilst I know the athletes individually need to do something, but going back to Paris, I don't want to stray from the point, but I have to go back to Paris. What happened with Shelly-Ann? Yes, probably she could have said something. As far as I am aware, the J3A had a person there who was supposed to be communication at some sort of title that indicate communication. I expect that individual to be the ones issuing comments, statements about the athletes who is injured. Nikisha Price, we heard that she was ill and all that sort of thing. I don't know if it was so, but there were some words going around that she was ill. Why her performance wasn't as expected. I mean, and again, I'll go back to, I said I started following track and field from 1964. I can remember 1968 Olympics, 1972 Olympics, 1976 RGR, and I'm sorry, I have to be specific here now, would have a commentary morning and evening, and we would get reports about what is happening in the team, if somebody's injured, we would know everything. And that was 50 years ago. And we are in this age now where communication has improved and technology has improved leaps and bounds, and we are getting less information.
Yes, we're getting less information. Hold that thought a bit. Let me just go to the comments.
Yes.
Track Diamond, welcome each and everyone. The chat is very, very busy. Welcome Tony P, Vonnie M, Track Diamond, everybody. Kino, Track and Field Talknet, welcome everyone. Track Diamond is saying, athletes, she's saying you can't just put something out there when you're a contracted athlete. No, I'm not saying that an athlete is going to come and tell us everything, but if something is already in public space, address it. We're not saying that you're to come and tell us what is in your contract, what is that, but for something that is in the public space and everybody's running with their own opinion, personally, I think you need to put something out there to address it. So that is all I'm saying. And I'm just speaking for me as a track fan. I want my athletes to communicate something to me. This thing where athletes are you're just hearing that athletes are not available for national duty. There should be something in the media to say, okay, David is not able to compete in the 4x4 relay because he's having a problem with his toe. Put something that when your fans and potential sponsors see that, they know that your work ethics, you have a certain standard of work ethics. Don't just say you're not available for national duty and everybody's wondering what happened to David. David is on form. Why is David not competing?
Seems simple to me.
All right, I just want to interject here on a lighter note. Mr. Dixon will be pleased for me to say why I am looking distracted.
Clayton, we're not hearing you clearly.
So I'm saying, I don't know on the speaker, right? I
Yeah.
said I may be looking distracted because I have royalty as a fan. Daisy Crawford is here, Ed Roberts is here, Ed Skinner is here. Mr. Dixon, you will understand why
Yes, I am familiar with those names. Yes,
the present, this little space right here is just royalty right now. And you know, right. So that's the quick interject. And I taken the point of, and I was just chatting with a former parent here, his daughter, Daniel Prime, Calypso medalist in 2001. I just chatted with him, so him here. Right. So the whole idea in this age of advancement, we seem to be getting that we are just making that exact point before we made it. Somehow the technology is not being used. We're even getting the athletes, the younger generation. As a matter of fact, I went to this TikTok workshop held by World Athletics and the Caribbean was not represented. It's 17, teenagers and early 20s was the focus because World Athletics is realizing the direction in which communication is going. So somehow, the more we have, the less we are hearing, and that is so true. What excuses we have now? We have WhatsApp, we have TikTok, we have so many things, but we seem to be getting less. Teams are going away. We don't get a picture when they're in the airport. We can't get anything to stimulate the fans. How are they to come out of the champs? There are so many avenues to get information out, daily blogs, whatever. So the more we have, less things will be coming up. Without having sponsors not getting the mileage. So to keep them continuing. I don't know, something is not connecting. And again, I don't know if that we're taking it for granted that we have good athletes and we're living on the successes of the past.
Do you have any thoughts on this, David?
I think it's a tricky one because I think that like the message that gets put out from an athlete, it's got to be it's just got to be well thought out. And I think that, so in the case of Shelly-Ann, it's like, well, when do you put that message out? Because if she comes out and makes a statement, let's say before that Olympic final, then there's going to be a lot of emotion in there. And then is she going to be in a place where, she can put across like a really sort of, what's the word I'm after? Like an objective sort of like clear message that when she looks back on that in 6 months' time, she's not going to regret, putting out a statement in the heat of the moment. Because I imagine, I don't know Shelly-Ann, right? But I'm sure she was extremely frustrated at that time and must be really hurt by it. So I think putting a message out in that situation is tough. And also wonder whether like some athletes are scared to put a message out because, you've already mentioned sponsors, right? And then is it a case that, potential sponsors, I put a message out saying that I'm not running because I've hurt my hamstring. And it's like, he's injured again. Well, like, I now don't get that Nike deal, or potentially like my stock, my value drops. So I think it's really tricky, and it kind of comes back to the situation, what we were saying before in terms of, like the value of PR in that situation. But then what happens if, you can't afford it or you don't know where to look, especially like in the case of some, like we've seen like sort of like various kind of like teenage phenomenons, right? So if you get sort of like an 18-year-old that's coming through and now the expectation is that the 18-year-old needs to be able to put a message out, they might not know where to look. They don't know what to do. I just think it's a really kind of complex issue, but I think that the kind of going back to what we said earlier, I think the sad thing is that a lot of people will they'll assume the worst about the athlete until something positive has been put out. And even then, I'm not sure if I agree with the statement that you guys made earlier in terms of saying that, the public will always listen to the athlete rather than the rumors. I don't know if that's true. I hope it is true, but I don't know whether, like, public is cynical. And so, it's sort of like you go disappearing for a couple of months, don't race, and then there will be people out there that are convinced that's because you've either failed a doping test, you've missed a doping test, you're trying to avoid doping tests, all that kind of stuff. So I don't know, like it's got to be. I think it's got to be challenging, being an athlete at that level, trying to kind of negotiate. And there's probably a balance, right, between wanting to, caring what the fans think about you, but at the same time, you probably got to be kind of thick-skinned and think, actually, I don't care what they think, what these people think about me. They don't know me, and I don't know where that balance is. I don't know kind of where you need to sit on that sort of spectrum.
Clayton mentioned the younger athletes, and I want to think that the younger athletes, is there a fear of making team? I'm not going to report that I'm injured because I wouldn't get to make the team. For example, an athlete who have made standard in any one of the regional games, the Carifta, Nakat, he may have a little nickel, but he knows that he has this nickel, but he doesn't want to say anything because you know what? I'm on the team. What's going to happen if if they know he has an injury? Will he still be placed on the team? Will he travel with the team? So I know here that is a stigma here as well too. That is a big issue for a lot of our athletes. They don't say that they're injured, but we see they're injured when they get to the games, because when they hit the first rounds, that's it. You're not seeing them in the second rounds. What happened? What's going on with this athlete? There was some nickel there. That nickel didn't just happen there. That was building. It started from, it started home. So and that's one. And I think they probably feel like they're going to disappoint their fans. Right through the season, I've been running. I've been well. I got this nickel, and it's okay because it happens. It's track and field. So I think the disappointment, disappointing their fans or the supporters, and two, the fear of not making the team or not traveling with the team. I know that has been our experience here in Trinidad.
I'm so happy that Akia, you brought up that point, because for the last few days I have been constant discussion about injuries than I get to sleep, because the conversation keeps coming. Now, if an athlete is injured, yes, is your favorite athlete and you want them to run, whose responsibility is it to clear that athlete to come back to training, to come back to competition? Because we've seen where athletes say, oh, coach, I'm fine. And you put them out there to run and they pull up in a race and everybody was like, why would you put him out there and he is injured? But sometimes the athletes will tell their coach that, as you rightfully said, because they want to compete and because of the level of competition, they want to be on the team, so they are not going to be truthful that they are injured. Whose job is it to clear that athlete to come back to training and to go back to competition? And how do we get fans like me when a certain athlete is my favorite and I'm like, I want them on the team, but deep down inside they are injured and they're not able to go?
Yeah.
Education.
May I touch on something before we get to that?
Go ahead,
question, HB, based on what we were discussing before. As you were talking about athletes needing to put something out there, a question popped into my head, and I was saying to myself, what if they don't believe that they owe us an explanation? What if they believe that it is just whatever? I can't show up at the meet and it's just whatever. I'm injured and it's just whatever. Like, it's really about me. It's really about my training, my team, my coach, and all of that. But yes, fans are there and so on, but you all don't need to know certain things. I don't know. What if that is what is in their head? That
so
they don't
my question is it that fans are not important to sport events? That is the question.
I'm really not saying it. No, what I'm
saying.
No,
I know.
I'm just the thought just came to me.
So if that's how they are going to treat us,
athletes think this way.
So if that's how they're going to treat us, then why should we pay our money to buy a ticket to come and see you compete? Why should, if we're not partners in this thing? And that is why I have the question right there. Are fans asking for too much?
Well, I
I
want to
think
add.
we have a long way to go. I think we have a
General,
long way to go in terms of bridging that gap. There are so many different factors to look at.
Well, I
And you
want to add
mentioned
this.
some of them a while ago.
All right, let's hear what Clayton is saying. Clayton, we're not seeing you.
Yeah, sorry. I want to add the element of you see, sometimes the people run the sports are not held accountable enough, both by the fans and maybe the other stakeholders. So there's always the issue of we're not supporting them, we don't have to tell them anything. And there's the element we're not getting enough information. That is the fans. So sometimes athletes are injured, and yes, sometimes the athletes do withhold. Sometimes we are not told that athletes are injured. I remember going to Rio Olympics with the Jamaican team when they did announce that Parchment and Russell were selected subject to fitness tests, and if they don't pass it by a particular date, they will not be selected. Russell, Genevieve, she made the team. She got an exemption because of the injury. She made the final. Parchment didn't pass the test. He so he had to leave the village, and we saw a different situation in Rio, in London not London, in Paris this last year with Sherika Jackson. So the whole issue of the fans didn't know, the fans had expectations. So the whole issue of integrity is important, because if somebody is injured, should they be on a team? And sometimes there's the issue of sometimes they don't have the depth, so we don't have anybody to replace. And coming back to the question of having a quality field, so you have options, but integrity is important.
right.
Everybody is it's a network, and so the fans need to hold them accountable. The association or those in charge need to know, they need to inform the fans and the public. But sometimes everybody, things are just being done, teams selected. Sometimes when athletes leaving to go to a game, you get a press release and the athletes already left to go to the game. So things have slipped a bit now, I would say, in terms of, and I don't know if that's affecting fan support. Yeah, a lot of things.
Okay, he's having some connection issues, but I get what he's saying, and I agree with him that we as fans, we need to hear something, because if I am expecting, and I'm glad he touched on Sherika, if I am expecting Sherika to run for Jamaica in that 200 meters, a lot of us fans had Sherika to win her first gold medal in the 200 meters. That was the expectations a lot of us had. And when she pulled from the 100, we said, okay, fine. She's saving herself for her pet event, which is also fine. But when she did not turn up for the 200, we back home and in the diaspora, we were disappointed. Everybody was like, the first round, I got up, 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning to watch the first round, and Sharika did not show. My phone was blowing up. Everybody was like, HP, you realize Sharika is not running? I said, I'm seeing it. Nothing was said to us as fans that, and in this case, I would be expecting the team manager, the federation, to
Yes.
make a statement. Maybe not the athlete individually, because they're now on a team representing the country. So the country should have a liaison,
Exactly.
somebody that is communicating with us back home about what is happening, how the Jamaican team, because we're back home wearing our colors and we're cheering. So how do we, and as Clayton just said, there is a disconnect. How do we connect or reconnect, guys, based on And remember, no, we are here as fans. We're not here as coaches. We're not here as managers. We are here as fans of the sport. Is this what we want to hear or to see? An athlete built to run, they did not turn up, and there's no explanation. Am I the only one who wants to hear something?
No,
Not at all.
I don't.
Not
But
at-
it comes back to what I said earlier. Do they now see this as important? You know, because I am still wondering. And no, I am not only wondering about the athletes, I am now thinking about team managers and coaches and so on. I don't know who here has ever, you know, sat on maybe a national track and field body and, you know, could give me something as to what goes on in the minds. Like something is happening. Should we just keep it among the camp or among the club, or should we put it out there for the fans to know what is going on? I don't know, but based on what we have seen, I can safely conclude that they don't really care about communicating to us. I don't know.
They don't care about us. That's
I
how
could be
I
wrong,
feel.
and I hope I am wrong, but so far it seems like I'm right.
Yeah, it seems as if they don't owe us any explanation. We don't
explanation.
owe them any explanation. We don't have to say anything. Let them talk whatever they want to talk. And to me, sport is a business. This is a person's career. This is a business, and we have to approach it like a business. But before we go any further, let us just note some comments. Some comments are here, and welcome each and everyone. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and all the niceties. Nikki So Royal, welcome, welcome. She's saying the athletic governing bodies are to blame also. Vonnie M is saying, okay, she agreed with Tamika earlier. Ethelyn Tate, who is a 1980s Olympian for Jamaica, she's saying, not all fans are real fans. Real fans support, they don't pull down, which is true. Tony P saying, Miss Webster accent sounds sweet there. It is the Trini in her. It is the Trini in her. Trap Diamond is saying, good evening, everyone. Could you all please like the stream? Okay, please like the stream. She's saying that I read that comment already that athletes cannot say certain things because of their contract. She's saying athletes need to become more aware of their personal brand. Let me read that again. She said athletes need to become more aware of their personal brand, and I agree with her 100%. Track and Field Talknet is saying it can't be the federation duty to put out athletes' illness. She's also saying the federation duty is to inform us that the athlete is not running again. She's also saying due to contractual obligation, the athlete sometimes can't put those things out. Ethelyn Tate is saying, this is just my thought. Being a fan don't mean you all need to know everything. There are times you just want to have some time. And I agree with her. And she said, I believe their contractual agreement do not allow them to speak a certain thing. It is just like your day-to-day. All right, let me clear this up now because I don't know if everybody's understanding what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying that you're going to come out and tell us about your contract. What I'm saying is that if there's a rumor, if something is already in the public space, say something to address what is in the public space. So let me give you a scenario. A few years ago, when I was doing my sport management degree in the United States, we had to do a research on football teams in America. And I remember where I was researching a certain athlete who had a sexual assault there was some rumors about sexual assault, and his PR person had to come out and address his fans. His PR person had to come out and tell his fans something about what was said. No, we're not saying you're going to share everything with the public, but you need to. I think and as Diamond just said, you need to be aware of your personal brand. There cannot be a rumor or a scandal or something about your brand and you say nothing. You have to say something because you have to remember that you have your fans, you have potential sponsors, you have potential fans. And some people will look at it to say, okay, so they're saying this about you and you're not even trying to defend your brand. So I'm not saying that we want to know your life story, but remember, we are the ones behind the scene pushing you guys. We are the ones who are putting you in our budget to come to attract me, to support you. We're the ones wearing the colors to support you. We are the ones taking the plane from one side of the country to another side of the world to cheer you on. So if you were built to run and you're not going to run, I want you to tell me something.
But HP,
go ahead.
Sorry. HP, when an athlete is traveling on to represent, they are not they are representing themselves, but they're also representing their country.
Exactly.
And remember, they are going, they have a body above them. So they have whether it's an LOC or the JAs or the NAAAs. There are a group of people or an administration who is responsible for those athletes.
When they're representing Team Jamaica. Exactly.
Correct. So whether it's Team Jamaica or Team TT,
or Team whatever.
Right. So they are being, they have that representation. So if the governing body could come out and say, okay, well, here what? For example, Shelly-Ann can't run. This is why. We don't need her life story. And that goes across the board, even for junior athletes as well too. You take an athlete, you recognize that there's something wrong with that athlete. You know what? You let the country know. You let your country know. Remember, those athletes are not just representing themselves; they are also representing their country. So I think that is key. Yes, the onus could be on the athlete to go and to report whatever issue he or she may have to the public, but also they are not there by themselves.
I'm going to tell you guys a little story where most of the Jamaicans already know this. There is last year, Jamaica, we were trying to qualify for the men's 4x400 meter relay. We had a last shot at it at our trials June 30th. Now, some of our top men did not turn up to run that race. One of those same athletes, he did an interview and he said he got information that a certain company said that they're not sponsoring him. They're not going to give him a contract because he did not turn up to run in the relay for Jamaica. Now, he did not turn up and no statement. In the same interview, he said the reason why he did not run was because he ran the 400 meter 2 days before, made the team, but he was having a problem with his toe. Now, if you're going to come out and say that after the fact in an interview, if he had made that statement or his team made a statement that he is not available to run the relay because he's having a slight injury that he doesn't want to aggravate, that same sponsor would have taken that into consideration instead of just thinking that his work ethics are poor. So I'm just saying that they need people behind them to protect their brand. That is all I'm saying.
Agree.
I don't want their life story. I don't care. And maybe the problem is fans care too much. Maybe we care too much. David, you're burning to say something.
No, I'm not. But I think that that's I can see that sort of being like an issue in terms of caring too much, and also potentially, like it's easy to feel like your favorite athlete, right? You kind of you've seen them interviewed all the time. You see them on social media, and I can imagine there's people, right, that kind of cross that line and think that the athlete kind of knows them, right? So it's almost like sort of like it's unrequited love. It's like a one-way relationship where that you think that, okay, well, why are they not as interested as me as I am in them when they don't even really know you? So it's kind of, do you know what I mean? Like, I guess it's almost like where people like cross the line from being a fan to being a fanatic, and just kind of, do you know what I mean? A bit sort of like a bit too much, a bit too. I don't know about stalkerish, but do you know what I mean? And just in terms of where, yeah, kind of like what's the barrier here? And maybe that's something that needs to be defined, right? In terms of what does the athlete owe the public in terms of an explanation? And then to circle back kind of to your point about kind of like an injured toe and whatnot. I mean, I don't know if I just don't trust kind of large corporations or something, but I think that I think there will be people out there that will say, an aggravator, any kind of injury, they will put that as the fault of the athlete, the coach, and that can impact their value.
I don't know. I am one of those track and field fans who I don't like when people talk negatively about our athletes. And I feel like if our athletes address certain situations, less negative would be said about them. That is all I want.
You're one of the good ones though, HP. You're one of the good ones. Not everybody else is one of the good ones. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's a really that's an honourable place to be. But I mean, you only have to go on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, after an athlete messes up or makes a mistake, right? And you see the slew of negative comments, and you realise that not everybody thinks as positively as you do.
Go ahead, Tanika.
All right. I oftentimes say that I appreciate my junior athletes as opposed to my senior athletes. And it's not that I don't appreciate them as well. I just appreciate my junior athletes more. It's like whatever junior meet is going on, I will prefer to just put on my clothes, spend any amount of money and go and watch them, because 9 out of 10 times they do not disappoint. They show up, they perform, when you try to engage them, they'll talk to you and so on. I feel like they appreciate the fans more at that level. I don't know what changed when they get to the senior ranks.
I was just going to say, I think it's like a purer level, right? They're doing it because they love it. They're doing it because they're doing it for like a pure reason. They just want to have fun, go out there and competing. And then by the time, I don't know, the junior level, they're thinking, I'm only going to do this if I'm getting paid this number of dollars, and everybody owes me something. And I feel like that it's just more pure when they're at that level. So I've interrupted you, but I think that you've made a great point. But I think
yes. I enjoy watching them at that level. Honestly, I am excited when I am to go to the stadium or wherever the meet is keeping to watch them. They always put on a good show. They always you can see that they are doing this for the fans. You can feel it. You can feel the energy, and that is what I love. So I don't know. I don't know what changed. Well, David just explained, part of it.
Yeah. All right, Akia, you are a member of Trinidad and Tobago Track and Field Supporters Association. I like that name. I don't know what you guys do. I like it, and I want you to explain a little bit what this is about, because I like it.
Okay, well, as the name says, we support our athletes. So I can give you an example, because the organization, the association, was sort of reinvented last year in light of the Grenadian Carifta in Grenada. So what the association did. We came together and we created a package for for the wider supporters. So there's an executive. So we created package for persons wanting to go to Grenada. So we will have sought hotels, arrange transport, purchase airline tickets. So we create this nice package for them. We got our T-shirts. We gave each supporter 3 of these T-shirts. So one on the Friday, one on the Saturday, one on the Sunday. And yeah, we went to Grenada and we had a blast. We supported. So that's one area of what we do. Support our athletes at regional and international and at the international level as well too. Some of our athletes, some of our supporters went to Peru, Lima for World under 20.
World under 20.
World under 20. Yes, some of our supporters went as well. So that is one aspect of what we do. Now, regards to supporting our athletes, of course, beside the fact that we attend all the local meets, an athlete may have an issue, say, for example, an injury. So we will help them financially to sort a therapist. We may walk them through, which is the best therapist they may go to. And those are athletes who do not have access to our national sports doctor. So there are athletes who wouldn't have access to him. So we help with that. We help financially. There are athletes as well who are transitioning from the junior athlete level to the college, to the collegiate level. And I don't know, for those of you who know, that process is not the easiest process. So we assist them with that as well too. We would look at their contracts from the school. We will guide them. Okay, this is going to be a full skull. We guide them through the entire process. What they need to pay, with regards to what they need to get to the U.S. Embassy. Some of us go out to the way and we pack in the packages for them to take to the embassy for them to apply for them to get their F1 visas. So we do that as well. We also, again, the association has a membership. We have $100 a year per member. And again, some of that money, if an athlete has received a scholarship and is not unable to afford the airfare to go, or when they get there, they don't have the funds to purchase the items they need for their dorm, we assist with that as well too. We have supporters who live across the U.S. and athletes who, some of those collegiate athletes, those who can't afford to come home during summer or Christmas or Thanksgiving, there are families who are supporters who take these athletes in.
Oh, that's great.
How do you recruit your members, the people who are members of this supporters association? How do you get people involved and recruit people? How do you get funding? You said you have a subscription, each member pay $100 per year, but how do you get additional funding?
We raise funds. Like we have right now, we're in the process of Carifta planning. So we are looking for funds. We have to purchase our jerseys. So we approach corporate Trinidad and Tobago, and we write letters and we beg.
Yes.
we beg again, and we raise funds on our own as well too. Right now we're going to be planning a food trip to Toco, deep east of Trinidad and Tobago. And we are hoping to get all of our supporters, and our supporters are mostly parents of athletes, whether they are junior athletes, whether they are athletes in college, whether they, and we have, of course, parents of former athletes as well too. Right. But what we want to get, and this is what we are attacking this year, what we want to get is persons who are not affiliated with an athlete or affiliated with a track club, the general public, to come out and support our athletes. That is our goal for Carifta 2025 to fill our stadium. The capacity of the Hasty Crawford Stadium is 23,000 people. We want to get 23,001. Filling those, filling
Right.
the seats.
You know, before you go, Ozzy, before you make your point, sorry, I like what you're saying because we right now in Jamaica, we are having a hard time pulling out supporters slash fans to come to track and field meet, and that is why I'm asking you, so much about your organization. But I like what you're doing. I like the initiative that you guys are pulling everybody out to support the athletes. You're helping your federation to get this kind of thing done, and I really admire that, and I like it as supporters association. I love it.
Let me pitch this in. This morning, so we started doing this, what our PR officer called the VP vibes. So I'm the vice president of the Track and Field Association. So we started doing these blogs, and this morning we put a blog out. I just looked at it. It's almost 6,000K, and it's everybody have been sharing this. So this is one way. So we will be doing it like twice a week, encouraging athletes, and not just athletes. Once the athletes share, the parents share, they share to a neighbor to bring people out. Because at the end of the day, we saw the experience we had in Jamaica, where we were red, white, and black. In fact, we took over the Grenada Stadium because we wore our colors on the day we were supposed to wear our colors, and we supported. Our flags were waving, and the athletes were really appreciative. So that's what we want in Trinidad. Carifta is a home. Carifta is home.
Yeah,
that's what we want for us.
I like that. Go ahead, Ozzy.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Just a question. Yeah. How long you say you have been in existence? The group?
The group has been in existence for over 20 years, but it was dormant for a while, and last year there was a change of executive.
Okay.
Yeah, and we started back the momentum last year for the Carifta and Grenada.
Okay, my follow-up question. Are you officially recognized by the TNT Track and Field Association?
The NAAA, yes.
Any other voice or a position in the I guess you understand where I'm going.
Okay, so we are recognized. We are a registered non-profit organization.
Okay.
And yes.
Do you sort of have a voice like in their hierarchy, any position or as such?
No, we do not.
Oh.
We do not have I shouldn't say that, because our entry is we just there's a new administration now, and our vice president, Hazley Ann Gordon Lynch, she is on their implementation committee. So yes, we do have a voice. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
In Trinidad and Tobago, with the Carifta Games coming up and everything, do you guys do a lot of marketing? I know that your organization is doing a lot, but in terms of your federation, do you do a lot of marketing in terms of the games being held at home, getting people out and creating different packages for different fans in terms of ticket prices?
Okay.
Well, you want me to answer that, Akai?
Yes, go ahead, Clayton.
All right. So the Ministry of Sport, no, I'm not here to PR or anything. The Ministry of Sport is handling all of that. And to this day, the games have not been announced, launched, because we are hosting both Carifta swimming and track, and apparently there are some gelling issues. It's already, February is almost done.
Mm-hmm.
So we spoke, I did an interview with the sport company. Well, what happened, the games, there's an LOC formed by the Ministry of Sport. Obviously, well, involving entities from both the track and field and the aquatic. But to date, we haven't heard anything. The last interview said by the end of this month, they're going to launch, they're going to indicate all the packages, ticket arrangements, etc. So we are awaiting. Miss HP, maybe we can get you as a foreigner journalist to ask some questions. You might better get answers. You might get answers for us.
Set it up, sir. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Hence the reason we are doing what we are doing as the Trinidad and Tobago Track and Field Association. We have started.
Awesome, awesome. I like the idea that the supporters and the fans have come together and are doing their part in order for this to be a success for the country. And you know, I am asking you all of these questions and I'm registering certain things in the back of my mind because, as I said before, I like the idea, and this is a way to help the federation to promote
Correct.
the sport within
That's
the
right.
country and get the different level of supporters and fans to be a part of the wagon come on that day. And as you said, your mission is to fill the stadium for Carifta, and I love that. I love that. I'll be watching and stuff, so I really enjoy that. But let us talk a little bit about aesthetics. How you guys feel about the aesthetics of a stadium, the seating, the track layout, the vegetation, the decor. I'm a big fan of that. I like to walk into a stadium, and when I walk in from outside, I want to say, "Wow." Am I the only fan? David?
I mostly walk through the National Stadium, and there is really nothing to wow about.
And that is why I'm doing this. Let's hear what David has to say.
I mean, for me, that's like if somebody runs fast and somebody runs well, I don't know if it makes that much difference to me whether it's in a big stadium or if I'm just at some little track with a grassy hill for people to sit on and watch. I think like, and I think I'm probably in the minority for that, right? I think the majority of people probably, like you said, they want to go there. They want the atmosphere. They want all that vibe. Whereas, you know, I could literally just go there for the 5 seconds that they're getting in the blocks, the 10 seconds that they're sprinting, and then I could go home and I'm happy. So, you know, I don't know if for me personally that contributes that much, but I'm sure it does for a lot of other people. I don't know if that's the answer that you wanted, HP, I'll be honest. But
no, that's fine. That's fine. I just love to see the use of a fabric. I want to see branding all around. I want to see clean bathrooms. I want to see clean bathrooms with
clean bathrooms are good. Yeah, they're good.
Listen, a woman will go to a sport event and she will make more trips to the bathroom to look at her face than even watching what is going on the pitch.
Sure.
No, that's what I'm saying.
That's why that why is not a fan.
And that is
not
why.
true.
But remember, you know, you want to attract all these people.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Attract the women to come with their men who they're not into the sport, but if they can go to the bathroom and powder their face and come back, they don't have a clue what's happening. But you have to cater for those people.
Yes,
People
true.
like me
Yes.
want to see everything, and I'm writing down the stats. We want comfortable seats with, you know, leg room. We want nice paint jobs. You know, we want to see a nice track, and then of course the lines contrast that blue track. You know, we want to see culture. We want to see culture, especially like something like the Carifta Games is coming up. I think it's the Bahamas. They're about the drums. I think they're the ones who come with the drums and stuff. Of course, Trinidad and Tobago. The John Cunning, yes, there you go. Yes.
The John Canoe.
Yes. Trinidad and Tobago have the soca music. We have the reggae music, dancehall music. You have the curried chicken. I hope the Trinidad people doesn't say chicken curry because it's really curried chicken.
That is for cricket. But HP, I want to add to what you're saying with that whole aesthetics, because I think if we have to expand the fan base, we have to attract the people that not coming for the sport but will come anyway. So if there's good entertainment,
exactly.
If there's lunch, and I heard this reference to the Australian Tennis Open, they said the diehard fans will go in the stadium. The other the people who you have to convince, those you have to put the screens by the bars, or you put them on the grassy area so people can relax. And because those are the people the people who, as I said, the diehard fans, you have them.
Yes.
But to expand the
Yeah.
base, you have to find ways of either have things for kids so people know they can bring their kids and leave them in a play area. The food, the food is important. Because if I'm coming on a Sunday and I have to cook, I have to know where I'm getting healthy food or what have you. And you want to make it a viable option for somebody who's not interested in track and field. So if you're having an entertainer, if you're having a door prize, those things motivate people about winning something.
Correct.
So we have to explore other sports are doing it, other events people are doing it. And I think we're just so focused on the competition. And I know, for example, prize giving and the meet always run into that, even at Carifta, because the interrupting the event is with the prize giving, but you must give your sponsor mileage. So you have to coordinate it in such a way. And the irony of all of this is that World Athletics have all these manuals and training workshops to help to develop the sport. And I am coming down on the region again. What are we doing to use what we have? We have to make the sport more attractive. We want people to come out.
Yes.
We have to.
Yes. Yeah.
Totally agree. Totally agree. And as you said before, the food, you must have refreshments and you must have food. A variety. You need to have a variety of food and refreshments. I remember in 2007 when the Caribbean was hosting the Cricket World Cup.
World Cup.
And in Jamaica, we had a few matches, and I went. And I'm going to be honest with you, even though I'm a cricket fan, I'm not a diehard cricket fan. And I went to the cricket match at the Sabina Park. And you know why I went? Because they had a party mound. They had a party mound with beads. That's where I were. I was where the rum was, the beer was, and you know what is so funny? The soca music, the reggae music, the dancehall music, because it was right during the carnival season. And you had people like Brian Lara and Darren Bravo, who was also a part of the team. And let me tell you, on the party mode, that was where all the people from Ireland were, because West Indies was playing the Ireland. And believe you me, the people who were on the party mode had no clue of what the sixes that were being hit on the pitch. Not cricket fans. We were there partying, drinking the beer and all of those things. And that's what I'm saying. You have to know how to make your sport event attractive so that you can pull the people who are not necessarily into the sport like that, but you need their money. You need them to buy a ticket and come in. Same like the children. You want the children to come out, so you have to sell merchandise. Children want to buy a cap. Daddy, can I get a cap? Can I get a key ring? Can I buy a t-shirt? That's more money from that household. That's more revenue that is going into your event. So you have to attract the diehard fans. You have to attract the children who are going to want to eat on the hour every hour. That's money for a concessionary. You have to cater for the women who wants to look pretty right throughout the games. And of course, daddy pocket is going to burn him because he will have to pay for food for 2 children every hour. Daddy, can I get popcorn? Daddy, can I get hot dog? Daddy, can I get a soda? That's money coming from different angles into your event. So fans want to live the dream.
Yeah.
They want that experience when they come to your event. The next thing that I like as a fan is I want in-depth information, I want in-depth analysis, and I want historic information during commentary. Am I the only one that feel like that?
For me, it depends on the sport. It varies from sport to sport.
Track and field now.
Okay, if we're on track and field, without a doubt, yes, 100%. Details, history,
Yes.
performance, records, that sort of thing. That
Mhm.
that is paramount. In relays, as best as we possibly can, if we can get some splits like the 4x4, I wouldn't want them to try that with the 4x1.
Yeah.
Just something to added for the real added value for the real fan. But yes, I agree with you 100%.
How do
And
you
if
feel
you
about
could get the names of the athletes on the relay legs, quickly, that would also help. I mean, even the surnames, because most times we know the surname, so we would know the first name that goes with the surname.
Yeah.
big screens with
About that for the
quick
research.
replay? Big screens with quick replay.
Ah, yes, definitely. Visible times and for us to see the clocks, visible clocks, yes, for us to see
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because some of us are very serious track fans, we want to see the flash time. We want to
That's
see the information. We want to see, and I'm a person like this. If the 400-meter is going to be running, I want, while they're lining up, the commentator is giving additional information. I want to hear if a Jamaican is commentating, I want the Jamaican commentator to say Jamaica has a rich heritage in this 400-meter at the Olympic level. Our first Olympic Games, we won a quinella in the 400-meter. Share that kind of history so that fans can feel connected to what you're saying. So I'm one of those fans. I have very, very high standards, and maybe they think that I want too much.
Well, I want to comment on that. Why? Because again, World Athletics have been providing training, so people go and I don't know what happens to the coordination. I'm not just talking about in Trinidad and Tobago in terms of the planning, because somehow you run out of time and you only focus on the track meet and those minor issues, what might be lesser issues, which are integral to a meet. Information is important. People engage, and somehow things have, yes, I don't know. Some things have somehow things have there's been a falling away of some of these things that we took for granted. Yes, we lost people like Herbert Lawrence, who are a wealth of knowledge, and some others. But what are we doing to develop? Are we waiting till they die? And I'm talking about the federations now. You have announcers. They may not be track and field, but because they are announcers, it's easier to train them. We really have to call on our, well, I know they call our federations, and I'm glad the track and field supporters, and I hope more in other islands emerge, because we have seen some issues happening. There's the opportunity for development, but because everything in track and field affects the supporters, and I would say the media that I'm involved in, but we focus on our area. But there needs to be we need to grow, which means support each other. But that whole issue of the announcing is, and the thing is, you have record committees within these associations. Do they work in terms of compiling? Do you get results on time that you can pull it together? Who is pulling it together? So some overhaul is needed. We can't do all at one time, but some overhaul. NACAC, well, I don't know if it's the chicken or the egg. The chicken, do we start at the top or at the bottom? Where do we start to
Good
get
question.
the necessary changes?
Yeah, we definitely need to look business-like. We need to look business-like.
Well, one of
Go
the things
ahead,
that's well, as it relates to information, and I have to relate to the Jamaica experience now, and I must say it has improved, but it still has some way to go. We used to quarrel, we murmur, we curse when we go to the beach. The field events, high jump, throws, zero information. But as I said, it has improved, and we're getting some. I still think there's room for improvement.
Yeah.
They're on the right track with that. We are getting they have the displays and thing and all that. Probably the spectators could be kept a little bit more engaged. I know there's a difficulty when track events are going on at the same time, but I mean, with a little bit more planning and, you know, they can do better, I think.
I think maybe a way to fix that, like at championships or in stadiums, maybe what they could do is have two boards, two electronic boards, one showing you what's happening on the track and one showing you what's happening in the field. Because I'm sure there's more than one camera in major championships. So maybe investing in two electronic boards that can give you track events and field events, because it is two categories of events happening simultaneously.
Yeah.
So maybe that is something that they can. I know it's expensive, but I'm saying if you want your event to go to another level, then you'll have to spend money, because more fans are staying home now, especially in this region, than what is going into the arena. Believe it or not, more fans are staying home now, or supporters to watch on TV than who are going out. I don't know if you guys noticed that.
Yeah, and I'm happy you touched that point, HB.
I've noticed it.
I'm happy you touched that point, because one of my biggest pet peeves in track and field is commentators who know nothing about the athletes. Sometimes they know just the minimum about the sport. And I mean, we see it mainly at the school meets, and we might think it's not important then, because it's not champs and it's not Gibson and it's not trials and all of that. But we need to know what is happening. As you mentioned a while ago, that fans are opting to stay home rather than going to the stadium. Some of us are watching it on our phones as opposed to a laptop or a big screen television. So we can hardly make out the athletes. So we want to know who is on the track, right? We don't want to hear that it's this athlete when it's somebody else. I was at Gibson on Saturday, and the commentator is saying this athlete is on the back stretch when the athlete was on the ankle leg. And it was when the athlete went, because we were sitting at the what they call this again?
The finish line?
Finish line, right. So when the athletes passed us now, somebody said to me, that is not so-and-so, this is so-and-so here. We want accurate information.
Yeah.
So I don't know how we can combat this. I don't know how the organizers of these meets can, deal with this. But we really want commentators who know what they're talking about. It's really annoying when they have the wrong name, they have the wrong athlete, they have the wrong PP, they have the wrong school, they have the wrong time. It's just so annoying, and it's happening too often.
Yeah, I know the identifying the school can be challenging sometimes. For example, you have a race or a relay, let's say, and you have St. Jago, Vere, St. Mary, the colors almost identical.
Yes, but if you have that,
I understand that.
But if you have that information on the paper, you should know which lane Vere is in, which lane Jago is, which lane
if they're in lanes.
Yes.
Well, yeah,
if they're in lanes, right. I know it's difficult sometimes, because sometimes while the colors are close, sometimes the team in each team they'll have different gears. It's not uniform throughout. So I know there's a little difficulty there sometimes.
Yeah, there can be a little challenge, but
in lanes, I was watching Gibson, and I was talking to a friend of mine. He was elsewhere watching it, and we were talking, and they were calling a school, and I said, but that's the wrong school. Wrong, totally wrong. The colors were not similar. So we just don't know how they got it that wrong. So I appreciate I think what happens sometimes, the commentators are calling what they think should happen in the race, not what is happening. So they'll call a school, and I notice the error. tend to go to certain schools. When so it's like they expect school A to be ahead,
to be
but it's not,
leading.
and they're
Yes.
still calling school A. So I don't
Yeah.
know. I think they can
When you
a little bit more care.
when you look at
Mhm.
Nicole Bramwell in green,
Mhm.
and you say Nicole Bramwell of Kingston College, I don't know what to
Oh,
make.
that's a slip of the tongue, man. No, that's a slip of the tongue.
I don't
No, I
know.
don't. I wouldn't be. That's a slip of the tongue. That's.
I
I
don't know.
think
The
that's a
color,
slip.
the color distinction is too far for you to make that
Yeah,
mistake.
that's a
Like
slip
you
of the tongue,
mentioned
bro. I
earlier,
would.
we can understand the Jago, the St. Mary High,
Yeah, yeah.
FA, and so on. All right, let me give you another example. I'm trying to remember which track, but it was about 2 weeks ago. The sprint hurdles was going on for I think it was the class 3, right? One athlete broke the record in 13:50 something. The second heat went off and that athlete ran 13:70 something. And the commentator kept saying, "Oh, the record has broken." And he was so convincing, so much so that persons who weren't paying much attention believed that that record that was set so many years ago, that an athlete in one heat before just broke, and it has been broken again. And I was having a conversation with a friend the following day, and we were talking about that race, and he was convinced that that athlete broke the record that was set in an earlier heat. And I said to him, no, it was an error, because there's no way that 13:70 something can break 13:50 something.
No way.
Right? But
Unless it's
afterwards,
something.
long after the commentator,
You see,
found
they
a way
don't,
to kind of squeeze it in to say, oh, I said that the record was broken because this person also ran under the first record.
I think
Kind of tied
sometimes
it up a little bit, but
I think
yeah.
sometimes the knowledge of fans are underestimated. I
Yes.
think, I think maybe they don't understand that there's some of us that study the sport, we study the athletes, we listen to veteran broadcasters like Hubert Lawrence, Bobby Frey. This was way before you were born, Tamika. But
That's true.
Ed Barnes and those people, we listen to these people. I had my little notebook from I was a teenager. Write down things, listening to people like Bobby Frey, and then of course later on in the 90s, Hubert Lawrence. People, I think a lot of times, fans, people just think we just come to listen and whatever we hear and we believe. Not realizing that the minute that we can even look at 8 schools to line up in a race and not hear the school, and we can tell the school, buy the kit.
Yeah.
That's how in tune some of us are. And as people in the chat, they were saying, we need therapy. Our our attachment to the sport, we need therapy. I have friends who said to me, boy, if I don't talk about nothing else but track and field, that's how much. But in wrapping up though, I'm not sure if Clayton is still there.
Yes, I'm here, sir.
Okay, and this one is for the Trinidad and Tobago crew now. Carifta is coming up. What can we expect from Trinidad and Tobago, the Twin Islands? What can we expect from you guys in terms of the quality of meat, the entertainment, the energy, the everything, the atmosphere?
All right. So I want to add, well, first thing is the first time in a long while. I don't know if you're aware, Carifta I think up to 1991 used to be multi-sport. You used to have swimming, you used to have cycling, track and field. But the challenge I pose is that not one country, not many countries could have hosted multiple sports at one time.
Yeah.
So this year is the first time since then, which is 30 plus years, they're having 2 sports on one weekend. So it borders on excitement. We expect it to be exciting with the numbers, the interaction, I mean, it's just track and field. I mean, sports for that weekend. So we anticipated from that point of view. As I mentioned also things are a bit late. Things have been planned. We got that assurance, but without hearing anything. Remember Grenada, Bahamas, the previous they launched it since October, November. You got the energy, the logo, so what they are claiming, they have been hosting the CPL, they have that model they're going to be using. So we are a little not aware of what is being done. So our stadiums, and I'm saying plural, stadiums are all under repair. So we're not having the meets at that level to really give an indication of the times, because everything is either grass or hand time. So we are a little behind where we expect to be in terms of the excitement. And this weekend is Carnival. So let's hope after Carnival, it's Monday and Tuesday. We will that the Carifta will take more precedence and more focus, more be in focus. I'm not trying to do PR for anybody, but that's what it is right now.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
I'm trying, but you're doing it.
Yes, it's one country, and we fans need to start doing more of this, promoting the sport within our country, within our region. Your thoughts on what is coming up in your country, Akea?
Well, as far as the Trinidad and Tobago track and field supporters are concerned, we are going to show up. We are going to get Trinidad and Tobago out on the stands. In the stands, we are going to get them out. That is our mission.
Awesome.
So, for sure, that's going to be happening. We're going to be there cheering our athletes on.
Awesome. I'll be watching, God's willing. So let me ask you guys. Go ahead, Ozzy. Go ahead.
Will it be available out there streaming?
Well, as I mentioned, nothing has been disclosed.
None as yet.
Yeah, nothing, and we know normally your Sportsmark will do the streaming. Nothing has been disclosed. So
correct.
We're not even hearing anything behind the scenes yet. We ain't hear no little confirmation.
It's been quiet.
Yes, very
okay.
Wow. Okay.
I'll keep my fingers crossed that.
Indeed. For the Trinidad and Tobago people again, I didn't hear the answer earlier. Do you guys say curry chicken or chicken curry?
No. We say curry chicken. Curry chicken. Yep.
The Guyanese put it the other way around.
Yes, I know. Chicken curry.
And
I don't know which is the adjective and which is the noun.
I like that. At the end of the day, still one Caribbean. Culture is culture, and we just have to embrace, each other as being different. In wrapping up this discussion tonight, my question is, after everything that we've said, we listen to each other, and I know that people will be watching this to hear how some of us as fans, they might mark me very hard and say, boy, HP wants a lot when she comes to a track and field event. But this is a two-part question, and I want each of you to answer. How important are fans to sport events? And as fans, do we have any right to make any demands? Who wants to go first?
It's crucial. It's crucial.
Yes.
That's it for me. It's crucial, full stop.
What was the question again? How important are the fans?
It's a two-part question.
Yeah, right.
How important are fans to sports events? And as fans, do we have any right to make any demands?
Extremely important. I mean, the sport without the fans I don't think it could exist. The right to make demands, yes, of course, because for the most part, we are paying reasonable demands. Let me say, yes, we have a right to make reasonable demands, because some demands can be unreasonable. And why I say that, because sometimes it depends let me use the Jamaica situation. If we're having a track meet at, say, Stadium East, as against inside the stadium, some of my expectations would be different as far as information, display, that sort of thing, you know. But yes, we do have the right to make demands because we are paying our money, hard-earned money.
You wanted to make another point, Akia?
Yes, I'm there with Osman. We reasonable demands.
Yes.
Yes.
I want to add that we need to put our money where our mouth is, because talking alone is not going to help. We need to come out and support. More needs to come out, because at Olympics, everybody has become an expert on what to say. But where are we intervening for years?
True.
We need to come and show the athletes we care. Yes, so we have raised an issue. What we're going to do, because sometimes some of you as fans are in a position to help where you work. You can be able to get something happen. You may not be able to give, but sometimes just simply giving a little $5 to an athlete, and everybody give something and make them feel that you love them.
Mm-hmm.
So I am challenging fans, not just those who give in, but we can't just be talking. We have to, and it can't just be at the championship. Your support has to be longer and more meaningful.
Yeah.
Indeed. Tamika?
I'm with what Ozzy said about the reasonable demands part. Because some of the fans can be a bit overbearing with their expectations. And for the next part of the question, I don't believe athletes like to perform in an empty stadium. I think they do like the energy of the fans, the noise, and so on, the cheering and all of that. So without the fans, then that would not exist. So of course, we are very extremely important to the sport.
And the last question is, how are we going to connect this puzzle? Federation, fans, athletes. How are we going to connect that puzzle so that it is in sync? Because if there's nothing to pull, if you don't have a pull to bring people into the stadium for the athletes to get the support, and if athletes think that they don't owe anything, and if everybody feel how they feel in a corner, how are we going to put those pieces together to be in sync so that this thing can work? And that's my question to close with.
I'll go. Again, the administration has to be the driver. Ultimate responsibility for the sport is theirs. Sorry, my phone. Sorry. Yeah, they have to set the tone. They have to be the drivers. Even getting the athletes engaged, education. The administration needs to speak to the athletes and say, look, your livelihood depends on us together doing well, providing a good product, etc., etc., etc. The athletes have to buy in, the fans have to buy in, everybody has to buy in. But we have to get the messaging have to come from the top.
I think, and there also need to be collaboration. If that wasn't said, my internet has been dropping all night. There has to be communication, collaboration. The federations, the athletes, the fans.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Totally agree. Clayton, you have anything to add before we wrap this one up on that thought?
Collaboration, networking. You won't always have enough of one thing, so that's why discussion and collaboration is important.
Correct.
Indeed. Any thought, Tamika?
I think for Jamaica, it will take a little more work than TNT based on, all that we have learned since night about TNT.
Yeah, TNT have their federation up and running.
And I sent you a message saying that we definitely need to steal this idea. I think it's something that we could look at. Yes, I sent it. I think it's something that we could look at. It's probably the first step. We never know where we'll get, but it is something we could try.
Yeah.
At least now the athletes will see that we really care and
Yeah.
so on, and
Okay,
gravitate towards
we're going to steal that idea.
Well, we're here. Feel free to reach out anytime, and we'll be more than willing to share our ideas, with you guys.
Yeah.
One Caribbean.
One Caribbean. Yeah, that's my thing. One Caribbean. But guys, it was indeed a pleasure having you all. David had to leave us early to go and put his little one to bed, but of course, his input was also vital as someone from the UK, and it is an eye opener, listening to from different perspective, and of course joining with our Caribbean neighbors, Trinidad and Tobago, who have also been a force in track and field. For you young people who don't remember that famous race between Donald Quarry and Mr. Crawford in the 100 and the 200 at the 1976 Olympic Games.
Oh, yeah.
Where Crawford won the 100 and Donald Quarry won the 200. Of course, for the Caribbean, it was a 1-2, 1-2. So one Caribbean indeed. And, it was a pleasure having you guys. And it was the last minute. I asked all of you just yesterday, and you all agree. And this is to show that we are really obsessed. We are indeed obsessed, and I love it. I love the obsession. So I'll give each person just 15 seconds to wrap up with their closing thoughts.
Okay, so let me go first. HP, I want to thank you. I only heard about you last night, and I went and did some homework, and I have been impressed. You are doing a good job. Thank you so much for inviting us, for inviting me, and of course, Clayton. And keep up the good work. Keep up the good work. Jamaica must be so proud to have someone like you in their corner. Jamaican track and field athletes.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Well, who's next?
I'll go. Well, in keeping with what Akia just said, yeah, I think it was a big plus for HP to get both yourself, Akia and Clayton, onto the program. At least it gives a lot of the Jamaican fans opportunity to hear, to see, to understand what is happening elsewhere, and to appreciate what's happening elsewhere.
Tamika?
All right. I just want to say to the fans who are watching that we will be definitely reaching out, because we will be stealing the idea. We need something like this. I believe it can work. So when we reach out to you, please do not turn us down.
Indeed. Clayton, you're closing.
Please.
Clayton, are you with us? He's driving, so...
Yeah, but my comment is we need to spread this. This needs to spread across the Caribbean.
Yes, indeed. Yes, we need to wake up the Caribbean, and we need to partner with each other. And as you guys said earlier, collaborate. And I totally agree with that. We need to be doing some more work together. And guys, thank you very much for being here on such short notice. It was just one day, and you guys are here. Thank you very much.
I shared my contact in the chat for those who need to keep in contact.
Oh, you changed your contact? Your number has changed?
I shared it in the chat.
No, he put
the others.
Oh, you shared it in the chat. Okay.
In the private,
okay.
yes. It's
okay. So it's in the private chat. Okay, awesome. But we are one Caribbean, and we need to stick together. We need to support each other from this region. And as Tamika said, and from Akia told me about her federation before we went live, I have registered it in my mind that that's something I want to be a part of. The Jamaica Track and Field Supporters Association. And we are saying it here for the first time that we are going to work on it. We're going to put something together because we want our athletes to know that, look, the real supporters, we are behind you guys and we're here to help. And look, man, we're going to have a thing up, man. We're going to have a t-shirt, we're going to have a cap, we're going to have everything saying Jamaica.
Armbands,
everything. We bump a sticker, you name it, Jamaica Track and Field Supporters Association. And just want to thank you guys. And remember, I will be back here Thursday night for my interview, my normal Thursday night interview. And of course, this interview will be moving from the track lanes to the pool lanes. And of course, we will have Jamaica first pool queen, Janelle Atkinson, will be here Thursday night. And guess what? She will, for swimming. And of course, she will be unfiltered. Guys, you don't want to miss this one. She will be unfiltered and she will be here. Janelle Atkinson, from the track lane to the pool lane. Jamaica's first female Olympian in the pool. We will be here Thursday night, same time, with me in this chair. So guys, thank you for being here. All the Olympians, all the athletes, everybody who turned out. I think I saw Dorothy, I saw Etlin, I saw Track Diamond, I saw Kino. Prince is here, Princess, aka HP, aka daughter of Hubert Lawrence. I love that one. And you know, just remembering Hubert Lawrence. What date is today? The 25th. Yesterday was 1 year. Since he left us. The 24th. It was the night before Gibson relays, Maccook relays last year. I remember it like it was just yesterday. So still missing Hubert Lawrence, because the information that you would get from Hubert Lawrence, when Hubert Lawrence is doing commentary, the things that when Hubert is doing commentary, I make sure I have pen and paper, because I know that he is going to say something that I've never heard before about an athlete. So I always have my pen and paper. I miss that man dearly. I miss his voice. I miss his knowledge about the sport. And he's a teacher of the sport, you know. So yesterday was a year. So just remembering the great Hubert Lawrence, the guru track and field, Jamaica. Let me say that again, Jamaica track and field guru, one of the best in the Caribbean and the world he was. So thank you very much for joining, everyone. Prince and all the others. I saw Nikki So Royal was here. Thank you for being here. Track and Field Talk.net. Big up yourself. Tony P, Vonnie M, Track Diamond, Marlene Green, everyone who participated and hang out with us, whether it was Facebook, YouTube, whichever continent, because I see where I have people watching from Africa, from Europe, Asia, Antarctica, Oceanic, all 7 continents I see watching. Thank you very much. North America, South America. Thank you guys very much. And I will see you here Thursday. Please remember, Thursday night, same time. Thank you guys very much. Thank you very much, Clayton, for being here. Akia, David, Ozzy, Tamika, HP. Thank you all for being here. Have a good night, and I'll see you on Thursday. Peace.
Jamaica's track and field legacy is unmatched. It is a story of triumph, resilience, and extraordinary talent. But do you know the stories behind the athletes who brought us glory? Hi, I'm HP, founder of HP Chat Track. My mission is simple: to celebrate the rich legacy of Jamaica track and field and shine a light on the incredible people who make it happen. Winning that race was a dream come true, but the journey wasn't easy. It's not just about medals, it's about inspiring the next generation. Jamaica track and field isn't just a sport, it's our pride, our culture, our heart. Every week I sit down with athletes, coaches and fans to bring you stories of dedication, passion and legacy. Plus, we've got exciting news and exclusive insights into the world of track and field. Make your Thursday night be at HP's place. Come hang out with us at HP Chat Track Studio, where track and field is our business. Jamaica. One people, one legacy.